Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Stylist Meets Vinyl. My name is Chris. This is my top 23 vinyl finds of the year. By vinyl finds, I mean records people purchased for me, records that I bought, records that I stumbled upon, discovered, all of it. Anything I've added to my collection. This is my top 23 albums. It's been a great year. I had a lot of fun hunting for records, a lot of thrifting, a lot of yard sales, record stores, flea markets, everything. And I'm really happy to share these 23 albums with you. Let's get into it. Let's go. Number 23, we have On Tour with Eric Clapton. This is Bonnie and Delaney and Friends. This is an album from the early 1970s, 71, I think. My friend Brian at Embryonic Robot purchased this for me when we did a record shop with Rob at Northern Revolutions down in Toronto. If you're curious to see that video, make sure you check it out. It was a fun day, a lot of good finds. Thank you, Brian, for buying me this. So that is number 23. I'm going to try to not say too much about these albums because I want to show them all and I don't want this video to be too long. So number 22, we've got Rust Never Sleeps, Neil Young. This is a live album from the late 70s. I think it's 1979. This is considered a very, very good live album. It's got some of the usual suspects on here. My, Hey, Hey, Out of the Black. A great song, Pocahontas. I love that song. Powderfinger, which actually, so there's a, people say Neil Young had this feud with Lynyrd Skynyrd. He wrote Alabama, then they wrote Sweet Home Alabama, and there was this feud. Well, they actually buried the hatchet and they became friends before Lynyrd Skynyrd had their plane crash. And Neil Young wrote the song Powderfinger for Lynyrd Skynyrd, and he sent it to Ronnie Van Zant, but unfortunately he perished in that plane crash before they were ever able to record it. So little tidbit of information, and here I am saying I wasn't going to talk a lot, and now I just talked a lot, but that's okay. That was number 22. Number 21, this is Are You Experienced? Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is their debut album from 1968, I believe it is, and this was a yard sale find that I found. This is a second pressing. This is a mono second pressing. You can see the old Reprise label there. Really nice find. This would be probably higher on the list, except I already have a version of this. It's a later reissue, but it's in better condition. This one is like VG at best. It is pretty noisy when you play it, but still pretty valuable just because it's a second pressing mono. So that was nice. That was a nice find. That was number 21. Number 20, we've got Check Your Head. This is the Beastie Boys. This was a gift from my sister and her husband. And, it's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Not something that I would buy for myself, but I really enjoy this album. This is hip hop, rock, rap, that sort of thing, alternative rock. The Beastie Boys, they play all their own instruments on this one, and this is a nice album. I tell my family and my friends, if you're going to buy something for me, you don't have to necessarily buy something that you think I'm going to love. You can buy something that's like, hey, I think you should have this in your collection, and this is one of them. So happy to have this one. That was number 20. Number 19, we've got The Basement Tapes. This is Bob Dylan and the band. I also found this recently on my Toronto record shop with Rob and Brian. This is from 1975, but it was recorded in 1967, I think. And it's half the band, or at least a portion, the band with Bob Dylan, and then some songs with just the band. Recorded in the basement of Big Pink in Woodstock, New York. Really good folk rock type of album to check out if you're into Bob Dylan or the band. That is number 19. Number 18, we've got Teaser. This is Tommy Bolin. This is one, like a total discovery for me this year. I didn't know who Tommy Bolin was, and I stumbled upon him, and then next thing I knew, I saw him out at the record store. I saw the record at the record store, picked it up. This is like a little bit of a fusion record, a little bit of like bluesy, it's kind of funky at times, rock for sure. Tommy Bolin, he was in the James Gang at one point, and then he was also in Deep Purple at one point. I think he replaced Ronnie Blackmore in Deep Purple. So, and I know Steve at All the World's a Stage, this is like one of his favorite albums of all time. So if Steve likes it, then so do I. That was number 18, Teaser. Number 17, a new find, Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette. I just talked about this in one of my last videos, so I'm not going to say too much, but there is one thing I forgot to say about this album. So in 1995, Taylor Hawkins was the drummer in Alanis Morissette's band, and he drums on this album before he joined Foo Fighters. Rest in peace to Taylor Hawkins. And also Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers is on this album, and also Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction is on makes an appearance on this album as well. So that is something, little tidbit I forgot to say. Next, number 16. We've got legend, Bob Marley and the Wailers. Also just talked about this in one of my last videos. This is, a great reggae album. You know what? This is an album that it just puts you in a good mood, I think. You'll know every song on it. It's a toe tapper. It's one to put on when you got friends over, maybe you're partying. Really great one to have. Feel good music. You can't not feel good after you listen to this album. Bob Marley and the Wailers, legend. That was number 16. Number 15. We've got Highway 61 Revisited, Bob Dylan. This is a legendary Bob Dylan album. This is a reissue from the early 2000s that I found at a flea market. This album opens with Like a Rolling Stone. We've got Highway 61 Revisited, the song Desolation Row. Very, very good album to have, and one that I was lucky to find it. It's in wonderful condition. Okay, number 14. We've got Black Sabbath, Paranoid. This is, it says 50th anniversary. I think it was, anyways, it doesn't matter. 50th anniversary album. I don't want to say too much. 50th anniversary album. This is their second album. Wonderful album to have. This is just great. You know, so many good songs on here. War Pigs, Paranoid, and then a lot of like sleepers that you don't hear on the radio that are just excellent as well. So that is number 14, Paranoid. Number 13, we've got David Gilmour. This is his self-titled from 1976. I was on the hunt for this one for a little while, and it eluded me for whatever reason. And I found this at a yard sale as well. I got a really good deal on it. It's in really good shape. David Gilmour is, I think, my favorite guitarist. I love that he's not a guy who like shreds like Hendrix does. I also love Hendrix, but he's not a guy who shreds. He's just slow, and he just makes love to his guitar, you know. He bends those chords like nobody else, and I love David Gilmour. So really happy to find this. This was kind of on my list, and I checked it off. Okay, number 12. We've got Sticky Fingers. I found this at the same yard sale. I found David Gilmour and Jimi Hendrix. This was on my list for a while. It was like a holdout. I was looking for a good zipper copy with the functional zipper right here. I don't think this is an original. I think this is an early reissue from 72 or 73. My favorite Stone song ever on here is Can't You Hear Me Knockin'? I love it. And this is considered like a seminal Rolling Stones album. So you got to have this one. And I finally do. So that is nice. And that was number 12. Now we're in number 11. We've got Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf. This is an album that I thought was out of print, and I guess they just recently reissued because this is a 2023 copy. I'm a big fan of Queens of the Stone Age. Dave Grohl is, he drums on this album. Dave Grohl right here. Mark Lanegan from Screaming Trees. Nick Oliveri, one of the members as well. I think this was his last album with the band. And, of course, Josh Homme as well. This is just an excellent album from 2002. Okay, now we're getting into the top 10. Number 10. Got to roll my sleeves up for this. Number 10, we've got Terminal Romance, Matt Mays, pardon me. Matt Mays, and this is actually with El Torpedo, which was his band at the time. Matt Mays is one of my favorites. I've seen him live many times. He puts on a spectacular show. I love this album cover, and it's funny because my fiance is a nurse, and we were looking at this, and she was like, "I really appreciated Anatomical Heart," and that's what you've got here. So I really appreciate it as well. Excellent album. It came with a bonus 7-inch. I just love the artwork on this as well. Perfect. That was one too that I've been hunting for, and I was just wanted to find in the wild, and I finally did. I finally found it. So that was number 10. Number 9, this is going to be a twofer because it's the same band, and I bought them at the exact same time. And this is like these are nostalgia albums for me. This is Matthew Good Band, Underdogs from 1997, and Beautiful Midnight from 1999. These are my two favorite albums from the Matthew Good Band, and I'm a huge Matt Good fan. Canadian alt rock from the 90s. Wonderful. These albums, just like, I've been through so much with these albums, you know, growing up with them. So I had to have those in my collection. Okay, that was number 9, a twofer. Now we got number 8. The Beatles, Now and Then, with Love Me Do on here. This is the 10-inch Spotify. I just mentioned this in one of my recent Vinyl Finds videos, and this is apparently one of the rare ones that is now very expensive, but it's just, you know, it's the last Beatles album. It's like this weird AI thing with the John Lennon, and just a cool story, cool one to have. You know, the last Beatles album, I gotta have it. And so now that was number 8. Now we're at number 7. We've got Upchurch. I just talked about this in one of my value finds video, my top 10 value finds. So I won't say too much. I found this at a thrift store. This is a really nice discovery. Psychedelic jazz guitar, I would call this. Very, very nice. I will be looking for more if I ever see more of Phil Upchurch, because I quite enjoyed that. Now, number 7. No, that was number 7. Number 6, we've got Frumpy 2. This is a German prog, prog psych, prog bluesy rock band. I'll tell you what, this would be higher up on the list. It's number 6, but this would be higher up on the list if it weren't. It's not the best pressing. It's just a little muddy, and it's not the clearest. But this was a discovery for me. I had never heard of Frumpy before. And then I'm mentioning Steve twice in this video. Steve from All the World's a Stage. He speaks really highly of Frumpy, and this was really nice to find. Hard Hammond organ, some guitar shredding on here, and some fantastic lead female vocals from... what is her name? Inga Rumpf. Fun name to say, and a fun band name to say too. Next, we've got number 5, top 5 here. We're Superfly from Curtis Mayfield. This is a funk album. You know, I crossed off a lot of albums from my list this year. I had a list that I was working up to. I crossed a lot of them out, and then now I just feel free to experiment and just, you know, listen to people's recommendations and add these albums to my collection, and this is one of them. This is a very well-respected funk album, funk soul, you might call it, and Curtis Mayfield. I just mentioned Phil Upchurch. He is the guitar player on this album. This was for the soundtrack for the film of the same name. Very, very nice funk album to have. Happy to grab that one. That was number 5. Number 4, Neil Young, Tonight's the Night. This is from 1975. I think it was, released in 75. I think it was recorded a little bit earlier, after the death of Neil Young's roadie, Bruce Berry, as well as his bandmate from Crazy Horse, Danny Whitten. They both died, and Neil was kind of in mourning. That's why it's in all black. I found this at a yard sale as well. Really, really nice find. I think this is an original, I'm pretty sure, and it's in really nice shape. Very nice find. Happy to have that one. That was number 4. Number 3. We've got Lazy Bones. This is the band which according to I mentioned when I showed this Dylan from Noble Records, the band stands, the name stands for We Intend to Cause Havoc. This is a Zambian rock band, also known as Zamrock. This is they call it a prog psych Zamrock masterpiece. It's garagey, it's funky, it is really cool to have. Another one that's just, you know, like, not something I would have just ever bought if I wasn't in the VC and watching videos, and that's why I love the VC so much. So, discovering stuff here. Okay, number 2. The number 2 find of the year. This is Eddie Vedder, Into the Wild, the soundtrack from the film Into the Wild. I also just talked about this in one of my videos. This is just an amazing album. I love this so much. This is a folk album through and through. There's mandolin, there's banjo, I think there's ukulele on here, acoustic guitar. It's, you know, it's not like Pearl Jam if you're expecting something like Pearl Jam. This is completely acoustic, very emotional too, I find. If you've seen the movie or read the book, or you know the story about Christopher McCandless, also known as Alex Supertramp. A really, really great addition. I think this is one that my fiance and I will be spinning many, many times. It's a great, what we like to call a morning album, something nice and soft you can put on in the morning. Really nice to have. And my number 1 find of the year, Let It Be Naked. This is from 2003, the remastering of the album Let It Be by Paul McCartney. Alternate takes on many of the songs, different production than what Phil Spector had done on the original 1970. I did do a video comparing Let It Be original to Let It Be Naked. So if you're curious to hear more about this album, then check that video out. There's also a really good story of how I came across this album. I was in a time of despair, you might call it, and my fiance kind of surprised me with this album. It is it's hard to find. It's a collector's item. This one is in like as close as mint condition as you can get. It also comes with the booklet and the bonus 7-inch fly on the wall. Check out my video called Vinyl Surprises if you want to hear the full story about how I came across this album and how I was surprised by this album. So that is it. That is my top 23 vinyl finds of 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which one of these is your favorite. Which one shouldn't be on the list? Let me know if you disagree with any of my picks. And also, I will say, I don't like making top 10, top 20s. I don't really enjoy it because I feel like my tastes are changing all the time, and I don't want to be held down to the list that I made at one point in my life. But anyways, they are fun to make, so that's why I do it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give the video a like. You would really be supporting the channel. Consider subscribing, and whatever you do, make sure you come right back here where stylus meets vinyl. Thanks a lot, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Peace.